Good afternoon, everyone. We'll call to order this special meeting of the Willow City Council for Wednesday, May 1st, 2024. The time is 1:01 p.m. Item 2 on our agenda, Pledge of Allegiance. Caitlin, would you please lead us in the pledge today? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you, Caitlin. That was Caitlin Eagle, everyone. Item 3, roll call. Amos Hoover, Mr. City Clerk.
Councilmember Thomas.
Present.
Councilmember Sprague.
Here.
Councilmember Bodden.
Here.
Vice Mayor Hudson.
Here.
Mayor Hanson.
Here.
Everyone's present, sir.
Thank you, Amos. Item 4, public comment. Individuals wishing to address the City Council concerning the City Council Goal and Priority Setting Workshop, number 1, are invited to make oral comments of up to 3 minutes at this time. Please address your comments to the mayor and council members and not to staff and/or the audience. And by state law, the council is not permitted to undertake any action or discussion on any item not appearing on the posted agenda. Is there any public comment today in reference to the Goal and Priority Setting Workshop number 1? Hearing none, thank you. Item 5, City Council Goal and Priority Setting Workshop number 1. Recommended action is to hold a council goal and priority setting workshop facilitated by RIA Collaboratories to discuss the City Council's vision, goals, and priorities for the City of Willows over the next 3 to 5 years. I'd like to welcome Giovanni Triceri with the RIA Collaboratories, his firm. And thank you, Giovanni, for being here today. It was a pleasure talking to you last week. And before we move on, City Manager Marty Brown. Marty.
I just looking forward to your workshop today and another one on May 15th. I don't have anything else to add. I think it's going to be a very fruitful meeting for the council, and I'm hopeful that out of it comes some vision and priorities and goals for the city and city staff moving forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Marty. Well, we can move to the table now and begin. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, again. We've moved from the dais, the council moved from the dais down to a table arrangement here within the council chambers to continue the meeting, and just for information, this meeting is being recorded as normal as well from our positions where we're at now. So, Giovanni. How about we start with Vice Mayor Hudson? It was his, his idea to have the goal-setting meeting, and so there you go, Evan.
This bus doesn't have any oil leaks, okay.
That's called the privilege of mayorship.
This is Evan's baby.
So, obviously some 3-year goals for us would be, to really, stabilize the city's, economy, make our financial standing a little bit better, and a little more open, try and really work on, saying, hey, this is how money's being spent, this is where it's going, and really having a path to express that to the citizens that's, in a way that's understandable, right? I feel like a lot of the information that is handed out or passed around is very detail oriented, and unless you're a CPA or an attorney, you're not understanding it. So I think, for lack of a better word, I think putting things in like a layman's terms, that is bite-sized and easy to comprehend, would be key. Another big one for me, obviously over the next 3 years, because it's kind of a high priority for us, would be our police department. Trying to get that established would be definitely a 3-year goal for me. And then as we would continue on, I'd like to see our Parks and Recs get developed with a full-time rec coordinator, along with, and that being including the library as well. Just something for the youth to do, and offering those opportunities during the summertime when kids are out of school and are missing opportunities to go do a lot of different things. I know a lot of other organizations around, they have flag football and a lot of, summer camps and things like that going on. And I think it's just because we're a small town doesn't mean that we have to deprive our youth of those opportunities. As far as a 5-year goal, would be again along the economic side, would be more growth in new businesses, growth in residential housing, but sustainable growth, safe growth. I don't want to outgrow what we're capable of actually taking care of as far as our infrastructure. Whether that be our water system being able to keep up with it, or our sewer system being able to keep up with it, our public works being able to maintain it, the electrical grid being able to maintain it, right? There's a lot of concern about power draws being put on the electrical grid with all this new growth and everything else, and people wanting to go to electric vehicles. That's one of the things that you hear some slight concern on. And so, just want to make sure that any growth that we have is, sustainable and well developed. And that would be more of my 5-year plan. A lot of mine was kind of some 1-year thoughts, as far as working on, trust within the community, and community engagement, inclusion, different things like that. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm kind of scrolling through my notes to see what else I got. But I think my 5 minutes is up. A place where families want to move to. A place where families want to move to. I will leave that up to them, to whoever's feeling ready to jump on that horse and take off on the race.
Yeah, thanks, Evan. So I'll go ahead and go next. It's okay unless anybody else would. Are you ready, Giovanni? You ready? Yeah, well, you know, along the same lines as Evan, I put some notes together the other night, but you know, and it's no different than our discussion, Giovanni, that we had on, when we spoke, but you know, the future of the city of Willows is, from my thoughts, rests on the hopeful passage of the 1.5% sales tax and measure that will be on the November ballot. Because without the funding, our future is dark here, unfortunately. The mission statement that City Manager Marty Brown sent out to us here, that was a mission statement that I had a hand in helping create at an outreach workshop, series of workshops, very similar that we're having here. So really, it says it all. We strive to celebrate our heritage of agriculture and outdoor recreation, foster economic growth, and continually seek out innovation to improve the lives of our citizens. I think that says a lot, and that basically captures it all. I'm proud of that mission statement. That was whittled down from probably a full page down to a viable sentence. But you know, like what Evan says, I envision a full service city delivering core city services, and the core city services are a full scope public safety, law enforcement, and fire, moving forward toward continuing on the path toward reestablishing Willows Police Department because of recent changes that have occurred over the last year or so. Fully staffed and funded public works department, and along that the public works and public infrastructure, and also continuing with adequate and well-funded library and recreational opportunities. We're living where we're at here. We're right in the middle of fabulous recreational opportunities from some of my passion, which include hunting, but hunting, fishing, racing. We live in right in the middle of the beautiful Sacramento Valley. We've got foothills and mountains to our west. We've got a river to our east. I mean, we're an hour away from hour or less away from just about anything you want to do. With the Sac Valley Refuge here too. I mean, it's God's country actually. But along those lines, we've got Basin Street development to the south that's already incorporated in the city. Several different housing phases are in that planning works. Rumana Cheese is as we know, is the anchor tenant there for the commercial side. But really, the sky's the limit. But it's all about attracting and keeping those that want to live here. So I envision a city that my kids and my grandkids and my great grandkids can live here and thrive if they so choose to stay here. And with that, we need the housing, we need the employment, we need responsible growth, responsible industry here that works well in our community. We're an ag-based community with recreational opportunities abound. I'm not saying we need to be restricted to only ag, but ag is the #1 industry in the state of California. It's a huge industry, and we're in the breadbasket of the United States, where we food and clothe the world from here. And this is where it's grown. This is where it's produced. So that's important. There's no reason we can't attract all kinds of agriculture-related industry here and the manufacturing side. And, to name one, with I-5 here and with rail here, and also a very nice county airport right here in Willows. So that's what I envision. That's what I'd like to see. But again, it all depends on funding for those core city services. So that's, thank you, Giovanni. A viable, prosperous city where people want to live. How's that sound? They go 5 minutes.
Right at.
Rewatch it. Okay. Trying to be careful.
I'm gonna see if I can do mine in 3. Sure.
1 minute when.
Already had 2. Simply put, I'd say 3 to 5 years, we have a thriving community. We've got new businesses and active businesses going on downtown. We've got foot traffic on our streets. We've done that through putting accommodation of people approaching the city with a welcoming attitude and a desire to help them get started in their business. We've got good signage out on the highway and all the way through town. We've addressed appearances of our city, especially our idle buildings. We have houses being built in Basin Street. We have a commercial I-5 industry at the south end of town, whether it be hotel or some other industry that's going to attract folks off I-5. An anchor employer of some sort. We have room for a warehouse or a distribution center. Give us good jobs. That's how we're going to get housing started. That's number one, because economic development is tied in with our revenue source. Second would be public safety of police, fire, and perhaps ambulance. We need to make sure that our citizens are safe. Number two, they have to enjoy life, so they need recreation. Whether that's a full-time recreation department, maybe 5 years or more, we have a recreation center. Continue to work with the Boys and Girls Club, see if they can assist us get us some activities for our youth to be doing after school. Fiscal transparency. Work continuing to do that. I think we've come a long way in the last year and a half. And I know that I've talked with our finance folks about the new software system will actually generate a quarterly statement, shows where we are in our budget, what we've spent. And then we continue to work our capital improvement programs, so we improve our physical structure of our city.
Might be up to you, Rick.
Do whatever you like, buddy.
You can bring You're the first one to touch him, so get on the cookie.
Simply put, thriving community. It's got all of the right parts. We've got economic growth, opportunity for shopping, recreating. We feel safe, and our capital infrastructure is improving.
uh, 3 to 5 year vision of Willows, a city of Willows with energized, excited citizens who are glowing with pride over their hometown. There is a sign on the freeway that says, "Welcome to Willows, home of Thunderhill Park." The city pool is full of kids of all ages. There's a new steakhouse restaurant in town that people from Chico are coming to on a regular basis. Oh, you don't write it all down. It's not that good. There are a number of positive, friendly citizens who are serving as council members, pursuing a vision of a bigger, better, stronger community. There is funding available for creative new ideas. Orland citizens keep asking this question, what is Willows doing that we are not? And why don't we have a motel? The site's reservoir has tripled the volume of foot traffic and business in all aspects of Willows. The TOT tax is $2 million a year. There's a new Home 2 and Hampton Inn hotels on Humboldt Street and an increasing tourism presence. Walmart has expanded to a superstore. Willows High School football continues winning that game that we lose every year. There is a big community event centered on olives, almonds, and motorsports annually in the town. The city is using an ongoing 3-year plan document with metrics, measures, and accountability. Highway 162 is being discussed as a new thoroughfare to the coast. We have established a record of pursuing hairy ass goals and getting them done. People are happy, trust the leadership and based on results, achieve goals, met and problems solved. Willows is listed as a town in California where people want to live. Money comes with success. Trust comes with results. Progress comes from having a vision. Vision produces realities. The reality of a successful Willows is ours, all of ours, to make happen. Just do it. Here. Very different than it is today. A visionary, strong leadership seeking economic, social, and goals for the betterment of all.
Well, first, the question that a lot of people are asking me is not so much what we're gonna look like in 3 years or 5 years. What people are asking me is what we're so I don't have a problem with this idea of moving forward. But David, you brought up a vision. And this is the vision we really put together in 2020. 27. So I don't want to sound skeptical, but my frustration is we've got lots of good plans that I've looked at with some good ideas, and then they just sit on it. So having said that, one of the things that maybe is a little unique to my area, came up here and said and at that time, my third child, we were looking. My industry was Sacramento, did well, then came back up here. I hit the magic age of 40 and decided I just didn't want to try to medicine all of the area. So I looked at those small towns that I built in the past, and Willows was one of them. I came back up here in 1989. You could buy a new suit, buy a used car. You could buy a washing and dryer. But we have 3, maybe 4 dining halls that could actually go get a nice meal, have a couple of house sales, dance with your wife. All of those things are now. And that's a little bit frustrating to me, but nevertheless, in '89, I decided to make home Willows. Brought my family up here, and in 1990, I believe I was on the planning that then annexed what now called Phase, called it South Willows. And my philosophy with that, because some people criticize, some people in town then did not want to grow. My argument that I don't care if you're tomato plant, an individual, or community. that was some of my purpose, being able to understand that in because it's land, housing, industrial, and so that was a good thing. But nevertheless, here we are, 820. And we haven't been growing. We've been actually stagnant now in our population. So it's just we're going down and the projection by the Department of Finance, we keep on the trajectory that we're on. By 2030, we'll be down to something less than 5,500. So something has. Well, here's my frustration. When I first came up here, there was a big sign in Willows. We were the gateway to Minnesota. Of course, what I learned about destination marketing, don't make yourself a gateway. We've got everything, David, everybody's already pointed this out. Got the racetrack, got the flight, got the I-5, got all of these things that are within 20 or 30 minutes. So here we and we're a drive path, a drive by. My frustration, I came back from Sacramento a couple of days ago. Big sign down for what is it advertising? Corn. Fuel. Just 29 minutes away. Okay. Okay, Martha, just 29 more minutes. We can pass right through with it. That's my frustration. So, the past studies, I think we've got some good stuff. I think we need to share this with you. I would think it would be our agricultural, the culinary tourism, the uniqueness that we have. I remember as a kid going to Tillman, 55 to 56. So if they coined the phrase or not, this billboard is 10 people smiling. Caption, can you say cheese? Okay, now I don't know if the photographers picked up on that or if they copied it 55 years ago. But here we are, we've got the cheese factory in South Carolina. Can we put it in? This might sound hokey, but can you do something that says, can you say cheese when you come to it? Not only promoting the food aspect of the stuff, but all the other fruits and vegetables. One of the things that was specifically in this, two of these studies, was how do we restore the old product? 2000 specifically made a reference to restoring doctrines and making that destination. That would be mine.
An old building in town.
Old building in town. No, restoring the building. Restoring the building. It was built in 1880. It was originally a granary. Most recently, it was used by Zappos.com. That's what Zappos started. I'm pleased to say I facilitated bringing Zappos from things. Anyway, I'm sure I've used up my time.
That was a Daughtry's department store for decades.
Yeah.
As long as we have a new sheet of paper, filed in Woolly Vision, we can do anything to throw around.
You know, my problem with trying to establish what we think we want Willows to look, I suggest that we as elected officials don't decide what Willows should look like as much as leveling the playing field so other people that have a vision of what they want to make, we help facilitate. As opposed to us, hey, we want 14 restaurants and we want this. There's plenty of people, if they knew that we exist, light manufacturing to whatever service they want to provide, whatever business that they want to bring. If they knew we were here and how close we are to Hyde, and that we had a cooperative local government that could help them facilitate their dream, they make those types of government business. Government should make the playing field level and should remove the obstacles that people filling their trying to side with the
The only thing wrong with that, Mr. Forrest, as much as I love you, is there would not be a United States of America if the leadership at the time believed that.
right. Well, okay, one of the things that that people are giving me feedback on and saying, we don't need any more fill in the blank type of the restaurant. That we need something else. There's where people are trying to dictate me, my concern with that is to dictate what a few people might want Willows to look like, as opposed to allowing for other entrepreneurs to come in and be able to do what they. David, I was on the planning committee when they people, no, we don't need a racetrack. We don't need it. Yes, that's what his vision is. Let's make the opportunity available.
It was good leadership at the time.
Well, okay, but the leadership didn't dictate
The
for you to
leadership
build
made
it.
it happen.
We allowed it to
Leadership
happen.
made it happen.
One thing that I heard you say, we talked about, you said, remove the obstacles.
Right.
That's what.
Yep.
If somebody has that, outside, do that idea.
That's the welcoming business attitude. And work with them to enhance and get that done.
What's the deal with the blue ones?
Yeah, one-
If you can read them, Bill.
So tell me again what.
Oh.
Best things.
You want more than one? I only did one, you just did one. I just. did
It's a good idea.
that one. Okay, ready? It says visualize and make happen, city on the I-5 corridor like no other city on the I-5 corridor. Screw being like everybody else.
While you're writing that down, I'd like to just make sure that I communicated with him earlier. I'd like a 3 to 5 page document, a living document. If we want more details, we go to all those studies that we've done in the past. We just need to be able to send to these people, the staff, what they should be working on. And to me, the first thing is at the counter, when somebody comes in with a business idea, they need to work with those folks to try to help them get their vision in their dream up and going.
The one thing we know is the cities that are growing all across the country are exceptionally receptive when it comes to new ideas. Whatever, it is, recreation, sports arena, they just open doors. Let's make it happen. It's all over the country. We think that have to value them in terms of the freeway and all the stuff. Way they do it, give, give. Because they're in it for the long run, not for the short run. What did we do at your Huh? What did we do? Yeah, well, that's good. It'll produce different results.
So after finishing that up, I'm gonna. Viable possible. Why do we use copy?
I need posting notes.
It used to be you had to tape them on the wall. I like this.
Yeah, but-
50, you know, now.
What- another one, good one. That one, I think I transferred everything.
Goodness gracious. We're all looking at Kevin.
small town feel or big city office? Uh, Restaurants, in the street. Bowling out in the city. Yeah, I mean, recreational. Growth opportunity. The job opportunity. Finding well with that small town feel where when you go into the grocery store, right? They're not shoving you out the door. How's your day going? You have that relationship with everyone around you. That's one thing I noticed when I was going to college in Reading. Great, right? There's 24/7 places open all the time. But you didn't know. And when I moved back, hey, how have you been? How are things going? I had that small town really walk on the street in front of the street, you know, and your 5-minute walk takes you maybe 45 minutes because of that. But I think that that's what draws places.
Your mouth. When you're talking about words that
Connected, safe.
One of the things that actually caused me to come back to live in the there's going to be a few people that are going to like that's what I'm about to describe. It's reality. What I liked about Little from a business perspective is that on any given Friday night, at dinner or dancing or whatever, or on a Saturday afternoon football game, Sunday morning, you could see the city manager. You could see the city attorney, the city engineer, anybody and everybody that had to deal with business perspective. Were your neighbors. They were your friends. And that's not to suggest that they gave people any leniency or favors. That's not the point. The point I'm getting at is that people that you had to deal with at the city level, at the local government level, were local. Okay, you knew them, and they knew you. And like Kevin was saying here, that friendship, that friendly stuff. I don't know that I concern myself with being recognized at the grocery store or whatever that could be. But in my industry, it's nice to have a good working relationship with the people. Again, not that you were looking for favors, but it was something that this was their home, so they bought into the vision of what I might be trying to provide, new housing and business. We don't have that.
I understand what you're saying. Big time. There. Satellite office.
That might be true, like Microsoft. Some of the industries.
what I put here, what I'm trying to say.
Oh, no. Well, I just thinking, you know, when I was a young man, you know, before I actually bought a house in the city, I was 11 miles out in the ranch where I'm at every day, where I was at this morning. And I used to really look forward to coming into town, by town, Willows. Willows was town. Go to town. It was a big deal to go to town. And Willows had it all, everything, almost everything you needed. It's right here. Mentioned Daughtry's earlier, that was the Willows department store. Daughtry's later. Daughtry's. You know, I could buy all of my clothes, I could buy all of my parts, I could buy everything I needed right here in Willows. It's not the case anymore. That's changed, and Evan kind of touched on, you know,
Amazon.
working has changed. Yeah, Amazon, exactly, Amazon. It's changed a lot, right? You know, the teleworking thing Evan mentioned, sure, I mean, companies don't need all this real estate. Government, you know, agencies don't need all this expensive real estate. You can telework quite easily from home with $1,000 worth of equipment that, you know, I do that as well. But anyway, aside from that, you know, Evan said, you know, responsible controlled growth. By controlled growth, I don't mean putting a clamp on. I've got, you know, none of this. I've got mine. You don't get yours. Everybody should be able to get theirs. But, you know, we're an ag, yeah, right. We are, you know, an ag-based, community. This is an ag-based economy. Willows, I'd like to see Willows be the wagon wheel, the spokes in the wagon wheel for commerce and trade, for, you know, the ag industry and all industry. You've got the cheap real estate to do it. I mean, times have changed, things have changed, you know, Amazon, so, the brick and mortar business. All and you know, it's all about, you know, they're always changing, always evolving, always growing, always moving. So we need to just work on getting there. But I like to see, you know, like I said, a viable, prosperous, lively community that, you know, that people want to move to, that people want to stay. And they can, you know, if they so choose, stay here, raise their families, participate in the community, and have, you know, gainful employment, whether it be self-employment or employment with other firms, like I mentioned earlier, the, you know, the manufacturing. We're in the perfect position, where we are in the, you know, central Sacramento Valley with our freeway, I-5, rail, Cal Northern's ready and willing to work with us. There's no reason we can't have a lot of manufacturing. Anyway.
Well, you talk about ag-based community a lot, and the farm itself is not going to generate the jobs or the economic engine
Right.
that we need. We need to be able
That's why
to
it's
take,
that's why it's
we
not
need to be
easy.
able to take the rice that comes off the field, dry it, put it in the sack that goes to the grocery store. Take the almond out of the orchard, take it out of the shell, process it, roast it, season it, put it in the bag that says Blue Diamond, and ship it out. That's where we could really gain growth economically based on the ag product. And we grow lots of walnuts, we grow a lot of almonds, we grow a lot of rice. If we could get to the point where we could take that product, we hull it here, we dry it here, but we don't stick it in the bag. It goes to the grocery store. And that's where I think if we focused, if you want to ag growth in our warehouse type business distribution center, that's probably where we could best suit if that's an opportunity. And I don't know where all that stuff's processed. I'm not an almond farmer. I'm not a walnut farmer. I know we hull it. I know we dry it all in the community, but it's never put in the sack
So I'd
that
like
goes to the consumer.
this.
That's where I think we could actually, if we had something like that, we would be on top of the world.
So we,
Well, we have acreage for it. We have,
the
Something to
model's
find
flawed,
within.
it's flawed. Agricultural business doesn't produce foot traffic. produce
no,
economy.
but it does
Bigger
create the
the
job
problem,
and
less
it
the
creates the housing
less economy.
and the people living in the house that would create the foot traffic. But we gotta create the job. And if we could somehow, and I don't know the process. I don't know where they put the nut in the bag that ends up on the shelf.
So let me.
And
let
I
me
don't know if
jump in.
there's anybody looking to relocate that business.
See, all the
I-
people did.
I
Most
think what
people
we
look
really
at the
need to
water.
do is we need to have some sort of outreach for business growth. And outreach,
Gotta do the work.
that's on my list. We have to have an outreach that's sophisticated, that will attract the right folks. And so that's probably beyond, I don't want to say it's beyond the skill set of the average council member or even the city manager and the city staff while they're busily running the city. We need to have some other aspect that produces an effort to bring this folk in that's actually talking to the people that put that nut or that rice in a bag, as an example. We have to have some viable outreach and we have to have funds in order to do the outreach. And that's why economic development is number one on my list.
Yeah, Rick, along those, I'm sorry, Giovanni. Yeah.
Yeah, it's proactive outreach.
Yeah, we got, we've got good thoughts, good ideas, Rick. But we've got two homegrown firms right here. It might be good to start with Rumiana Feed and Carrier Farms. It's Carrier Farm. But
Well, we
a lot of walnut
North.
processing, employs a lot of people
Sierra
here.
Nevada cheese.
And Sierra Nevada, sure, we've got three very viable commercial firms right here in South Lake County. One of them's in the city limits. I mean, good place to start.
Well, absolutely.
So I want to jump in here if I may. So the development of a city from day one was based on an opportunity. They started where rivers connected, where oceans met land, where railroads connected, or where highways connected, or occasionally where industry grew up and developed. And so when I look at Willows, I look at what is the opportunity that we have? Why would people? Everybody up and down the I-5 corridor's got almonds, rice, walnuts, you name it, from Sacramento all the way up the freeway. So the difference is, I mean, the key is to differentiate Willows, to be unique in some way so that people want to come there. You have to create the want. And we have had the egg forever, and it hasn't created the want. So I'm a little pessimistic when we talk about making ag all of a sudden out of the blue an economic engine or an attraction for economic growth. It just doesn't work.
It's not the sole solutions for sure.
Oh, so
Oh, sure.
what I wanted to. Well, that's what some of us think. Of course. That starts with step one. And step one is the lowest hanging fruit, the easiest, most obvious magnet we have to attract. So Well, I think it's a location and recreation. And some of that community idea of a small community town, but if you read about our town outside of our town, it doesn't say what a wonderful place. it is. A whole lot of media out there that says we're not such a wonderful place. That's the truth, whether we like it or not. It's the truth, and it's been going on for a long time. We have a goodwill. But, anyway, if you get back to why would Willows grow as opposed to any other city on the I-5 corridor, there has to be a reason. Right now, the only reason I can think of truthfully is tourism and recreation and changing the model completely. A brand new vision of Willows as a what? Recreational center of Northern California, using the river, using the lake, using motorsports, using fishing, using hunting, using something that isn't being used by Corning, Orland, Red Bluff, Williams, everybody else. Change the model.
And I, let's break up. One of the things I learned in the previous life, I had to do tours of the captain outside. I think then became so confused and now it's maybe now, but you would know better. Here's.
Inclusive, Inclusive County, you're talking, Forest, Inclusive County, you're talking about?
Yeah, the ADM plant.
Yeah. ADM rice. Yeah.
When I did the tour down there of that, they bagged the rice, Sutter, Butte, Calusa, Glen County. Most of it was Glen and Calusa. They had 26 bags that went to 26 different countries. They're all labeled with their own language, whatever country it's going to, except on the bottom, about half-inch letters said a product of Pride, California license. So the point is that they've taken that Morning Star, sacred tomatoes and other things. But you're right, we have Carrier Farms. We just built that big, beautiful building. It's got another color that's going in up around 32. We've got California olive. We've got those types of things. I'm not suggesting when I talk about ag, it's not that we're manufacturing or producing, or we're taking advantage of the. I've got a sister-in-law comes up here from San Jose and brings her friends up, and they go see the bird sanctuaries and that type of stuff. But then they go wherever they can go to buy olives and whatever.
I have 100,000 people.
Okay,
100,000,
I understand.
easy picking.
So again, it's not just recreation. They offer. One of the things that when we talk about out, and I think I know you saw the pictures that I took a number of years ago. Tried to get this stuff here. One of the things I contacted was California Manufacturers. And a former colleague of mine was the executive director. This was 20, I think. And I contacted them and thinking about what kind of manufacturing is going on. Maybe we could draw here for those that land so that it's a forest, like a widget company making widgets in Orange County. And it takes us 7 hours to get that widget. Okay, so well, if you were building that widget here in Blaine County, you could get that widget to Bakersfield in 7 hours. Get it to Seattle in 12 hours. Really, what have you got? I sent information. There was some interest there, but there was never any opportunity. But the point is that is an industry that we could take a look at.
Fraction. Lake, river, country, fractions. There's multiple.
Multiple.
I think I've read that somewhere else, somewhere before. Looks pretty regular to me, yeah.
No, it's good.
I mean, it is, I feel like we're getting a little pinpointing with where we're wanting that. I think proactive business environment is substantial. That's saying, this is the direction you want staff to look at, right? And the staff gets to say, all right, crack their knuckles, what do we have out here? And they're not limiting me to just an ag industry or something that's recreational.
Right, yeah.
My best friend lives up in Prineville, Oregon, okay? They had the Les Schwab Tire Center, the main distribution place was based out. Now, all of a sudden they have, I believe it's Facebook and, Amazon that has their main hubs of the cloud store, have all their services, right? Completely off the wall location for a huge outdoor recreational area. Smith Rock, not far away, they're not biking there. Then they have this unknown industry to maybe that community, right? Very small town feel, very Willows feel to it, right? But then they have this other industry that's completely off the wall, right? That brought in, that's bringing in.
You just described Reno, Fernley, Nevada.
Where?
They're all there. Amazon, all of them are there between Reno and Reno, Fernley.
But my point is that's what I want to bring here, right? Is I'm saying that if we label it to just ag industry or recreational, we're limiting it to that area. We're taking our five finger,
Right.
and narrowing it down to just
Yeah.
these two.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, that's just part of it.
So
That's just part of it. There's a third wheel and
Yeah.
I use the
feel
term.
like that's, I'm
I use the
voicing
term.
that part that I want to make. Okay, I
Yeah.
don't want this to be a very,
industry. Industry, yeah, industry.
Yep.
Sure,
Yep.
yeah, industry, because I threw out ag, because that could be a big part of it, but industry, I said manufacturing, but industry that fits, whatever that be, like everything you just said.
Well, as far as no, I think that,
No,
oh,
we're,
category, right? It's not necessarily a business, productive business environment. It's an attraction to bring those families. Oh, there's a job offering here, right? Like there's a new job that was offered
that
here for me.
supports,
Why do I
local
want to
business.
move to Willows? Oh, there's actually things for me and my family to go do. There's a lake nearby. There's, disc golf courses, 3 of them within 10-minute drives. Okay. There's things for us to do around. There's a skate park. There's
it covers part of it, but,
Mhm.
but not just people who live here, right? It's to sure, who eat here, who stay here, who purchase things here while they're here. As well as people who live here, right?
Mhm.
You want to attract,
the
they say
tourism.
destination,
I think
attract,
You're discussing
tourism.
tourism
Right.
essentially, right?
and we're in the middle of God's country for recreation, crying out.
Because under that you have the hunting, you have the hunting, the fishing,
Sure.
not just the. Because I think my concern is a lot of the prior, that's a big binder, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost a step-by-step guide as to how to fix a glitch in your Windows 98 computer system. I don't want a step-by-step guide. I want to give somebody a general direction and give them the shove out the door. And then let them develop what they, foster their own ideas. Because probably the people back here and the city manager and the people sitting at the table will always change, right? But they may not be into ag or recreation. They may have a different look. And so then what does that do to the plan that we're working on? It turns it into a dust collecting binder. So I want to make sure that that's how we'll. I want generalized, like I'm just trying to keep it generalized enough to where everyone can agree this is how we want to do this. But then the group of people that put together on it, each are bringing their little different, brainstorm thoughts to it. And they put it together.
So, one of the questions that should happen before this meeting is, what do we want to leave this process with? What is the tangible outcome we're seeking by this dialogue conversation? The reason I ask that because it influences the whole thing. We want a specific plan to find ways to touch, reach out, and cause to happen economic growth and driving recreation and community excitement. Or, I mean, the problem with this is that it's in that book, it's in the one before that, and it's in the one before that. So why would I believe a generic statement like that is going to do anything other than, oh, wow, gee whiz, golly.
Right.
So what do we want? Before we go, can you kind of give us an idea from your other experiences? What are we going to end up? What's our widget when we get done? What are we going to end up with? Very specific plan. Goals and metrics and parameters, all these things so that we're not wandering the street going, economic development, economic development, economic development. And that worked really well. But we're going to say, well, that's what we're going to do. Well, today,
May I interject? Mary? Take that. I was, on the board of supervisors, Plain County Board of Supervisors. We were interviewing a new planning board. And so I asked him specifically of how he dealt with overseeing and helping facilitate development, new development. And he says, well, Mr. Sprague, that actually ends up years as a board of supervisors. I take my direction. And I can take those rules and regulations and apply them as restrictively as I possibly can to help prohibit development, or I can look at them as permissive, still with the objective of the legislative body. So I take my direction. So I think that's a little bit what Marty was saying here, is that interact. If we have a vision, collective vision, and we want you to look at the rules and regulations as permissive, not violate, then that would be the direction staff would take. If we look at it and say, look, we all talk big, but we really want, then that's the approach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes,
I can't see it. I
Yes.
just like here,
absolutely.
expand.
Expands industry
Okay,
and
good.
supports recreational.
Mhm. Yes.
Rick said it well. He'd like to see a carpet manufacturer.
Well, years ago, I researched that,
Right.
20 years ago.
Yep.
All the carpet was made in Georgia. They ship it out by train to LA, and then they truck it north. My thought process, you could ship it by rail right to Willows, and you could cut out a whole day trip from LA on your way to Portland or to San Francisco.
That's true with any carpet.
Carpet, paint, whatever, any industry. I just wrote down, are there any industries manufacturing that a state distribute in California? And can you capture a distribution center here?
Everyone.
Can we get the Jeopardy music playing in the background while we're doing this? Is that?
The obstacles you have.
You know. That's why we only needed one, Marty. Why did he give us three? But I spelled it with an I once and a Y. this time. Oh, you want the pad? Yeah, I've done it.
Yeah. Here, let's do it.
I'll start. I'll start. Yeah, David touched on it initially. One problem that Willows has, there is a definite sense of negativity. And David mentioned it. And it's in the local media. We see it all the time. It's not good. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. Secondly, well, I heard money mentioned in the room here. Sure. We lack the financial resources and the personnel to have staff recruiting industry. If we had funding to do that, okay, as a city council, we set the policy, the goals, establish policy, set the goals, and provide direction. And it would be great to have some, staff support to recruit economic growth. Other communities have the funding to do that. We don't have the funding to do it. And thirdly, related to that, number three, kind of a weak number three, is, I said it before here, during open session, because of the lack of funding we have, skeleton crew here, covering all the work of a municipality requires, staff and the council as well. Too busy putting out fires, day-to-day operations, instead of looking, having time for our city manager and others to look at, the core managers within the city organization to do what a good manager does. And let's look down the road, not 1 year, but 5 years, 10 years down the road. Your city manager should have the time and the resource to be able to look 5 years and up to 10 years down the road. Well, quite frankly, we're not in that position. It's our city manager, although is very capable and has the capability of doing that and does try to do that. She's busy putting out fires on a daily basis, just operational fires, because of lack of funding and lack of staff. Absolutely, absolutely. We have the resources here. We need to do the recruitment to attract those resources, because everybody else is trying to attract the resources as well. We're not going to be found. I mean, we might be, but it's slim to none. Somebody's not going to find. We have the resources here. We need to recruit those resources. Sure. Well, let's have a can-do attitude and again, cut the negativity. Let's be can-do. There's no reason we can't be can-do as a community.
Number one is finance. Number two is access to the promoters and or developers. That's the outreach that we need. And then the third would be competition of the other communities trying to do the same thing. Of the other communities that are trying to do the same thing.
Very similar.
have financial stability. Positive community interaction. That we need, we don't have positive community interaction. So like we have a negative community interaction right now. I mean, we're having an open city council meeting and we have staff as our audience, right? That's on a regular basis, right? So we don't have any community interaction during these meetings, you know, just. And then my third one was, infrastructure. I mean, our streets are, some of them are falling, they're deteriorating, or we have a list of sidewalks that need to be put in or fixed. Our sewage system is slowly failing throughout the town. You know, we just got the water problem solved out to actually sustain the Basin Street project, if that was to actually expand, to actually get the water that would be needed to sustain that area, for the houses and also for, fires and things like that. Yeah. Mhm.
I don't know that I've got three, but one of the concerns that I've got in coming up with some sort of a overall vision for the city. I've spent a great deal of time, and I talked to you about this on the phone, the business community that I see, where we've got Humboldt, we've got 162, we've got Old 99, and then we've got some. And what I'm discovering, talking with those people, is the difference of opinions that somebody that has a business on any one of those streets, what they think the other streets should look at. Because if you look at the business type of business on home, you got fast food restaurants, you got hotels. They have a complete different business plan, complete different kind of a vision of what they want Humboldt to look at. You've got some, to the north, you've got a big, what is not farm, but I don't know what's up there, Tractor Supply. And then you've got three state, federal government offices and that type of thing. Then you come down Sycamore, down Wood Street. You've got a couple of real estate offices, you've got chiropractors, you've got various types of businesses. And then 99, you look and you've got a difference in whatnot. And then to add to the difficulty of it, you've got a whole empty canvas south of for all intents and purposes, where you've got some industrial opportunity, you've got more freeway opportunity, and then you've got some residential. So I guess the one obstacle that I see, or a roadblock, is how do you come up with an overall plan for the city that satisfies or is beneficial to everybody that wants to benefit from it, doesn't hamper. Yeah. Right. That would help. Right. Yeah, there was a great plan put together for the city of Willow
Outdated.
Outdated would be a good. Well, it's outdated, but it still would be very applicable to what we want to do there. There's a downtown 2003. And it talked about being able to get historical designation of some of our downtown, the opportunity for that, so forth. But that's a complete different for Humboldt. Doesn't work for Humboldt. Okay. Same with 99. We got it designated as historic highway 99, but are we taking full advantage of what that means and what could it be? And then you've got 162, which you're talking about going clear to the west coast with it. It'll happen. But now look at the traffic type that you get either people coming up from Sacramento and using it to short distance to get to Butte County or from Butte County to get to I-5. So again, it's disjointed. I'm fine with this.
The roadblocks to achieving that. First and foremost, we haven't the foggiest idea how to do it. Secondarily, we don't have dynamic, courageous leadership in place to take the risks. And actually, I don't think we have a clear vision or idea of what we are talking about when you use those terms. So those are my three. We don't have the skill set in place to do the job, which is another way of saying we don't know how to do that. I'm speaking for me. And second, clear, dynamic, courageous leadership. The lack of clear, dynamic, courageous leadership. Well, leadership by definition, meaning at the decision making, forming, executing, pushing, making the phone calls, making the contacts, all of the steps that it takes. It's a multifaceted problem. History says yes to that. And then the last one is if you ask 10 people what that all meant, you'd get 11 different answers. Yep, you'd get 11 different answers. I wrote it down as a clear vision of or idea of what we are talking about.
Unclear vision.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that what that-
It's, yes.
I was saying that. I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can only speak from home education and have that. I know there's a lot. What innovative and strategic act would address our road health? And what innovative action would address these roadblocks? It could be a strategic action that addresses a number of. So, that one of the revenue, tax capacity. Here, we would address some of these. We would address, we have a financial. That makes it.
Sure. Sure. It's a lot easier to be municipal government when you have money. Yeah. It's all about funding. It's all about money. What can you afford? What services can you? Absolutely.
Summarize the statement again, please. I don't know what. I got that part. What was it, what was?
Well, what I'm saying is, so what I'm saying is, we're not.
That's not an action item, that's an outcome. That's not an action item, that's an outcome, is it not? Increasing revenue,
Well, it's certain actions
then talk about those. Talk
that-
about- Pass this
Well,
on.
I think to address some of what you brought up for us would be town hall meetings. If we had one for downtown. And if we had another one for Tehama Street, we had another one for Humboldt entryway. And we gather what they want. And plug it into all of this to drive a singular message. Might work. That would be one way to do it.
To be able to have individual town halls for those.
Have individuals town halls for those areas with that in mind,
With
with the thriving, developing a thriving community and how we could get there. And recognize for them that those in Humboldt are looking at the freeway traffic. Those downtown are looking for the local traffic. And how all would benefit by bringing it up 99 from 57. So if we orchestrated our town halls, we could address financing, we could address the needs of those those particular areas, all with the same concept of making us a thriving community. That would be how I would think would be the most innovative way.
So I want to answer the original question, but I want to ask you, who's our target audience for this mission? We need to know who our target audience is for this mission. Think about it. So here's my answer to the question. What was the question?
But you asked a question, and I think the first and primary target audience are our staff, so they work in that direction.
For economic development,
Yes,
target audience? is
opening the
staff.
door, so they're on board with this. That's the
Okay.
first one. They gotta be on board with us
So everything we do should be targeted towards the staff.
to start. Once we get them on board, then we move to the second stage. And you're gonna answer that one.
What?
You asked the question, you have an answer, I'm sure.
Yeah, the target audience is outside our realm. It truly is, to get the result we're seeking. I'd say what I would do, whatever the question was, go public with a forceful, aggressive policy, good goal statement that says Willows will do whatever it takes to accommodate change and growth. You gotta create the image, the message, the belief out there that we will do whatever it takes. No more, we're not friendly, we won't do this, we throw up roadblocks. This side of town doesn't want to do what that side of town wants to do. There's the I-5 corridor versus the, I don't know what, the chief will be one bold, brave, we'll do whatever it takes and sell that message so it's believable after a while. People will respond to that. Go to Willows, they'll do whatever it takes.
Real simple, we mean business.
That would be another part of that message for sure.
Maybe I misunderstood where you were headed, Giovanni, with this question.
Well, collection, I mean, let's go with that.
Okay.
The question is, what innovative and strategic actions would address our roadblocks and help us achieve? So what are the actions that we can take that will get those roadblocks taken care of?
Okay, so you brought up the sales tax within that discussion. So let me go back, and I should have brought this up under the roadblocks that you brought up. I've done a lot of help with destination marketing, up at Red Bluff, as well as Corning and others, so on in my private. And one of the things that I know that fall under the 10 top categories that businesses are looking for when they want to relocate or expand into another. You probably, you know this well. The first top three are always safe, law enforcement, slash, okay, hospitalization, and educated work. Now, we can't control the hospital. Rick did an excellent job when he was here working with the Glenn Medical Center Foundation and so on, and raised a lot of money for some of the things that they've done, and it's changed hands. When I ran for supervisor, I said, we'll shut down the hospital at that time over my dead political body, and we tried to keep it alive, and we did some things on the board that changed some of the direction, and somehow or another, all of that fell apart, so it didn't come together as well. But we do have Indian Health that seems to be getting a good reputation on being able to provide health services. Whereas in our education stuff, we don't have control over that. But what we do have control over, which usually falls within the top three, is the safe community law enforcement. And I'm the only one that stands on the idea that we take this 1.5 cent sales tax and specifically earmark it and put it into a public safety fund specifically for law enforcement, whether it's eventually our own police force or whatever, or currently having to pay the additional costs associated with the sheriff. And fire, and then if we have money left over in that, be able to expand. And because I look at that as you, I think where you're headed with what I interpreted your question with this is, what is one of the roadblocks and what can we do innovatively come over? That would be my want, is to make that money that we generated from the sales tax specifically for public safety. I stand alone in that opinion, by the way, so you're
And
liable
you
to
stood
get some
against it
shrapnel
a
from
couple
both
years
sides.
ago.
Pardon me?
Said, and you stood against it a couple years ago. It's-
And I gave,
You gave a reason that doesn't make sense because it said that they wanted to possibly buy land to build a new building, which makes a lot of sense for the fire department to be able to build a building for either training or additional apparatus. There's
let's
100
not
other
get
reasons,
in that
but
argument.
if you're gonna sit here and speak yourself up instead of actually focusing just on the task, and want to keep talking about your prior history and how well you've done at everything, then let's just focus on this task instead of doing that. The pessimism around this place can go out the door. You know, we try to do, we're trying to do things the best that we can. We try to put efforts forward to let the people decide, and it's met with pessimism at every step, whether it's Mhm. I have no idea. I really don't know. You know, I'm on the council to try and give out ideas, to try and lead the town to a better decision. I'm not here to build the building that's gonna bring in the new jobs. I'm not here to go attract the business to here. I'm here to give direction to our economic development, right? And our finance department. Say, hey, this is what we want to see so that we can explain exactly how these people's money is being spent and why it's being spent that way. You know, Joe, what's your job title, right? That, okay. Okay, so who's gonna be doing the one looking for these people? It's gonna be Joe. I want to give Joe the direction to say, okay, they want me to find ideas to bring business here. Great, Joe, I want you to go find people to come here and help with this community. Okay, that's Joe's job, right? So I want to create a guideline for him to do that. Okay, but we're not able to do that because I feel like we're micromanaging every step that they have instead of being what we are, which is we need to look at more of a macro, right? 5,000 foot elevation. And I think that's where a lot of our loopholes come in, is I think the government oversight is sometimes too strict and too controlling to let the people that want to come here make the decisions for themselves. You know, So to get over some of those loopholes, you talk about no idea how to, we hire the people to do that, right? That's not your job. That's not my job. That's not anybody on the council's job. You talk about unclear vision. This is a vision goal setting, workshop. We're trying to work through it, right? I don't have a full-time career in it, neither do you. Horace, neither does Gary, neither does Rick. We're here to bring our heads together and our past experiences and our different walks of life to come together and try and form something to push that direction. And so I think my goal here was to try and just get everybody on the same page to move forward, right? Get rid of the pessimism, get rid of the negative talk, and start to develop a trust. There needs to be trust. So I think one way to get over the roadblocks is develop trust. Realize that we're all aiming for the one thing, and that's a better Willows. And if we're not aiming for a better Willows, then we should be here, right? So, like I said, I don't have the capacity to solve all those problems, right? As in the management standpoint, you hire the people that may be better than you at different aspects of that. I don't know how to run a city, so we have a city manager. I don't know how to do finance, so we have a finance coordinator, right? We have a community development person. So I think the biggest part of getting over our roadblocks is getting trust in the people that we hire and know that they know how to do their job better than we do, and understanding that we don't know how to do their job. They may have an idea of what their job is, but let them do their job and trust in what they're doing for us.
Yeah, real quick, now just sitting here listening to this, the majority of us are all saying the same thing here, just in different ways, right? We're saying the same thing. And it starts with adequate funding. Like Evan's comments, Marty's comments, David's comments. All, that's our issue. And we have an absolutely fantastic staff here, but we're extremely short on staff. It's a skeleton crew. And it all comes down to adequate funding, all comes down to, hopefully a successful passage of the sales tax measure so we can move forward and be a viable community. Because as it's been said here in different ways, like I said, it's like Evan alluded, you hire the staff to do the economic development, the outreach, the industry recruitment, like we said earlier, like we've all said, right? We've got minimal staff here, and sure, our staff does what they can, but busy putting out fires, day-to-day operations, right? Instead of having the resources and the time, the staff time and the availability to do that outreach. That needs to be done by people that know what they're doing, right? Right? So, and David, in reference to your comments, yeah, it's all about, positive can-do attitude with adequate funding. That's all we need. And many of us here have a positive can-do attitude. However, we've got to beat that negativity that's out there down, right? And I think part of that too is we need to do a better job at letting the public know what accomplishments that we as a city, as a council of the city have made. And there are numerous. They are numerous. But we don't do a good job of getting that word out apparently. So anyway, adequate funding. It's across the board.
Well, if you earmark what the projection is that the sales tax will generate an additional just cattle $2 million. If you take the additional cost associated with the sheriff's department and add it to the fire department, just the cattle with $2 million. So to me, that ends up being something then that the community could rely on, and it could be something then that businesses looking here realize that we have a public safety fund specifically. Because again, it always falls into 1, 2, or 3 for a business. Then the rest of the general fund budget is still flush from my perspective. The math shows that it would still be flush. Admittedly, there's a shortfall to be able to add some of the staff that we're talking about doing, but I would suggest that between grants that are available and that type of thing, that could be funded through various grants. In addition to that, I would suggest that we as council members could tend to be somewhat of an outreach and liaison to businesses and say, hey, come on up here, I'll buy you a cup of coffee and take a look at what we've got. Opposed to relying on staff. So at any rate, I don't know. Hope that answers. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm not following your question.
Okay, so let me, one of the chapters here, what you all talked about, go back to where you want, what you want. We have here that for over 4 here.
I use transparency there, Greg. That was me that used
Did
that
you use
word.
that word?
I use that word,
The T word?
the word.
The buzzer, the word of the year.
I meant to put openness. but
Collaborate's
I
the
did
new word,
use
though.
transparency.
It's now, it's, the new word is collaboration.
So, yes, capital improvement program. that- For
You did a good job reading that.
not done. Prosperous, thriving community where students can do great things. That's not it. So, early, economic development. When the business is making economic development.
Oh, sure. Yeah, our number one priority is the safety of the public safety, right? That's a legal obligation. That is a legal obligation, I should say, the role, priority role of the city council, right? So it's important. That's number one, paramount. To provide, adequate, equipped, well-trained, professional public safety services. Public safety, public works infrastructure.
Right now, we're not. for twenty.
Sure, yeah.
You want, where, we afford it.
Sure.
Quality of life. That's your recreation. That's your, technically, it's all things that you look for in living in a city, which is feeling safe from crime, safe from fire, recreational opportunities, nice parks, streets, curb gutters, all that's taken care of. It's quality of life. in the community. They're all quality of life issues. Matter of fact, public safety is too.
Right. Core city service, those are your core city service.
I gotta step up a minute. I gotta.
Stand up, fill some coffee, water, and put them in. So you want to, your thing first, you want to incorporate all of that. quality of life,
Well, but
or-
that's, quality of life would be more of your recreational and living opportunities and entertainment. So I would say recreation, entertainment, quality. Well, the parks certainly are, but, streets, curbs, and gutters is more of your infrastructure that's, and I put that down there as capital improvement. CIP, because you gotta maintain your infrastructure. Sidewalks, the parks, the building, city hall that needs to be painted.
Your public works, infrastructure that's right behind public safety and a lot of that's interactive because there is a public safety aspect there too with a lot of the work that public works people do, right? From a safety perspective, right? You're talking about health and safety issues, the collection and treatment of wastewater, for example. That's a big deal. Just wait till raw sewage runs in the street, then see if your phone rings. So anyway.
So, I thought we were here because we don't have any money. All of that costs money. So me, what I'd like to end up with here is an aggressive program, find revenue, create not only immediate but long-term revenue. When you have the money, then that comes along. Focusing on that is like focusing on the end product without the beginning. We are here to financially make the city of Willow able to do those things. Right now, we can't. That's why it's coming up. I think part of it, sales. Whether it be, personal revenue, three different fundraising. One, two is, bringing more business, more tax base. And the third one, yeah. Here's the fourth one. You ready for a fourth one? Create a viable economic engine. Well, that's one. That. Viable. So those three areas first. In order to do that, those have to be. So what I'm hearing. Yeah, something that runs and grows and produces energy and pays for all that other stuff. Next time we get it,
it is going to be more. What we need to do. Or, kind of, look at this, see what, how it's brought out.
I have kind of like community engagement. So with that, I mean, we don't, there's kind of a disconnect that I've noticed, between being a volunteer, being on here, being part of church groups. There's a disconnect between our nonprofits, our schools, and our city. We like playing each in our own pools, you know, instead of trying to combine and find ways to together build towards a better Willows. And I think that that's important. I think that if you're able to show that the town's able to work together, then within itself, then that will naturally draw in other people or other interests to say, yes, I want to get involved in that type of place. Why? Because they have each other's back instead of, you know, kind of playing the blame game, which kind of seems to happen pretty often. So, yeah.
So far, without moving. Articulated what are the components of one. Total self-supply, these are the areas. And then, give some work to outline, bring this together. We came up with a statement that says that in order that we are, Willow is a private. Safety, families want to live, work, and rest, based on this collective, work. For this. And we said proactive business by expand industry, work. And I asked the question, what are some areas that need to be addressed? What are, I want to go back to that question. Because everyone will do that question later. So, but what we outline here, in order to have this, we have these five. Doesn't belong to it.
Yep. That's the road.
So that. This, public speaking, positive attitude, seems like. Now, we start going into the more of what we'll do is outline what's possible. One. From that, we said that, we meant around economic development. The attitude that Willows is an aggressive, progressive, out there,
unique and different community, and that attracts people like myself. Like a corporate image called the city image. Kind of a woman.
That's part of the economic engine.
I,
I agree.
Let me throw out for discussion the quality of life, and we go back to hospitalization. Is that, can we somehow or another, probably do this, recognize better? Because it's so involved with the
Non-medical
fundraising. You were too, David. But would that help with some of the public image that we want to try and create for the city of Willows? Is some sort of, we've got a hospital, and now they call it a medical center. And then we've got Indian healthcare. Is that something we could dovetail into the quality of life of?
Yeah, good, that's something that I want to make sure that.
those are huge positives. I mean, it's two of the huge major positives for the hospital.
Say that again.
Those are two of the huge positives of the year. We have a lot of positives here. We have a viable hospital that actually has really drastically increased their in and outpatient services all the way across the board. And, you know, for a small area especially, and, you see, Northern Valley Indian Health, they're all fantastic. We've got some, excellent pediatricians here too. You know, those are some of the many positives here.
Well, especially knowing that health-related stuff is in fact one of those top three that businesses are looking when they relocate or locate or expand to another state. So,
It's all part of the, you know, the positive image, that beat that negative, the negativity out there. Sure.
What are, what are some particular specific areas that you could maybe access? Like first, for instance, but I'd like to put also on how long. So now I'm going to, the next time we're together, we're going to look really concentrated on unifying as well. So but there are going to be some elements that we're going to be further. We want to craft it. I just want to make sure that we have specific elements. We start with next session that starts looking at specifically.
Yeah, sort of.
Give us an example.
Yeah, it's sort of.
Yeah.
Sidewalk specific items like that.
That would be a few, that would be. How long will it, you know, how long?
Yeah, that's the killer. We can't afford it.
Yeah, it's,
Not even close.
So there's a lot to do.
it,
What is some?
Giovanni, once again, it all comes down to adequate funding. Mhm.
And that's where the thought. Now everybody's like, wow, we can't do that. But when you start forming a plan.
Too complicated. Too much work, too complicated. Pick one, don't make us do both.
We do.
But the sellout.
Right. Here's part. That's why I was just saying. Assuming that. If that doesn't.
We won't even be able to pay you.
Yes.
We'll be working for free today.
Cash the check quick.
Right, so there's those things that, so right now, we're laying out. And a speed and buy revenue. And we're gonna be looking at, you know, the doesn't have there. Let's just assume that we've got. This is what we're doing. On top of the action.
Right now,
Right.
You want one per sticky note, or do you want 3 year?
One piece on a sticky note, I'm going to.
No.
And then what I'm gonna do, then, is I'm going to take, we're gonna do that all together. And I will organize. We'll get that. Start. People register down.
What did you want us to do? I mean, because I have 2 pages. You can- All of them, or you just want?
Well, I want to make sure so that we capture it. I want to make sure that.
That one, no, because what I mean by that is it's settings for business and housing development. So any new areas we talk about flow together.
Oh, sorry, right, take that, I'm sorry, right? Didn't mean to do that.
You get these? Oh, you get them all? Okay.
It's got some good ideas on community engagement.
Well, the one town hall we had, I thought was productive. I think if we have, I didn't get the turnout that we had hoped for.
Right.
But I think if you start having them like every other month, people will get more engaged and start showing up. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But if you did Wood Street entryway, Tehama Street, back to do downtown. Yep. Oh, you want an action? Yeah, so I didn't give you an action item, did I?
See that.
Yeah. You're getting a lot of blue stickies there, Joe, right?
Did I? Yeah. Are you going? All right.
Yes, it is. Use that money to make specific outreach to recreation vehicles to manage. Yeah.
I'm gonna read these out. Take us out of the diet that really talked about. Part of the case itself, but the community. This is So about public safety, maintenance, this is no particular order, reading them out loud, we'll see them in like, replacement of aging fire apparatus. ALS fire.
Advanced life service.
Advanced life support.
That's like. We establish of the fully staffed road. Fire.
I wonder where all these came.
Those actually are
Oh,
one of
okay.
mine.
Rebuild, mediate 5+ years of prepare budget. Fund, start. When you pick fund starting.
Is that, read out which one?
Like police department, 3 years, fund. There's a.
Well, I assume that we're gonna start saving up funds.
Okay, so building.
The reserve, correct, yeah. Offset that. Oh, it's part of-
You're talking about. Oh, okay.
Okay, rec center, 5 years. Yeah.
Our rec center building, you know, somewhere, someone has a great one, you know.
Full-time rec director, the program is year long. Rec agency, hire rec. Public safety, feasibility test, must be unbiased, factual. Quality of life, best meeting them. Public safety, 5+ years, $15 million. Quality of life, rest, with hospital.
I'm sorry, okay.
You had said, quality of life, rest, one, two, three.
I'm sorry.
I want to make sure that I have a clarity there.
Okay. Well, quality of like recreation, additional recreation in 1, 2 years, whether it's whatever, and then the hospital. I think that the hospital's turning around, but it's not getting any positive press from what I'm hearing. Quite frankly, some of the negative stuff. I think if we could get, if we had a city liaison, and I think Rick would be a good one because of history with this, and maybe David, is to work with the current administration at that hospital and say, how do we help you improve your image? we had a complete different, back in those days, a complete different relationship with the people at the hospital than what I think we have. And a lot of that was, he was a key player, the key player.
And on mine, the action item immediately was feasibility. Need to do a feasibility study of the reality of reinstating the police service before we jump off the cliff and find out there's no water below us. Critical mass, that a really intelligent feasibility study speaks to that, whether we want it or not. That's right. That public safety is- I'm sorry, it was focused on establishing the police. Okay.
Community improvement, capital improvement project.
It was tied to the other narrative, kind of continuation of it.
Okay, anything, this is your chance to write something that was said on there, and capture it, and start from that to
You had a good list there. A lot of, yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, patience. I know that if you're doing these types of work, we are doing that work. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the passion and the action that you brought up. In 2 weeks, we will come back with this detailed out and really looking at this, articulating what the goal, what we like to see there, and priorities.
It does. Yeah, thank you very much, Giovanni, for your time. So, time is now, 3:34 PM and, meeting adjourned.